Their opening title card is so cool. It cycles through PlayStation's history of games, just like the history of Marvel. So good. It got me. Every time Jan would imagine video games, the way they depicted Jan's escapism after his fight with his dad, the video game would just envelop his reality. So cool. There is a lot of product placement in this movie, but it almost makes sense. Like every time, it just went right into the scene. Maybe it's just me, but I don't experience as many video game bigots as some of the characters in this movie. I feel video games have just become so mainstream, it's obviously an actual career. There's a video game for everything, and everyone's played a video game. It's a huge industry. It's just so strange to see people putting down gamers. The bias they show is so sad. Orlando Bloom. He's always acting like he just won the lottery, or like he's the Cheshire Cat, just pulling everyone along. I was waiting for Orlando Bloom to just switch to the dark side, and sometimes he's so on the edge. It's so out of nowhere. Are you good or bad? Orlando's like, we need to give it to this other kid. He's not camera ready. And the coach is like, what? The dad is incredibly mean, like unnecessarily crazy mean. It's like he didn't even hear what the son was saying and just said what he was gonna say no matter what. So sad. The dad's acting is really good at times. He's not given that many lines and he's able to emote through it a lot. When he's telling him not to go, but at the end with the least lines, he did the best job. Jan's mom is a Spice Girl. As soon as she popped up, I was like, what? That's so interesting to see. She's a Spice Girl. She looks great. Her acting was good too. They didn't give her many lines, but she did very well. Some of the over-the-phone scenes were weird though. The first one was strange, but the second one was okay. The music works really well in this film also. They have Joji. I'm definitely going to be listening to the soundtrack. All the jazz Kenny G stuff. Oh my god. When the coach plays Jan's music, he gets so bad. Oh, but I'm glad it snapped him out of that. Why'd he get so out of it? Is he even gonna get there in time? The movie said that New York has the best pizza. I'm from New York and I've had hundreds of different pizzas. So much pizza, so good. Jan should just be honest with his family though and not hide some of these things. Same thing with his parents. If they want him to go to school or have a plan, they should say that. But Jan does have a plan and they should respect it. He is late to the biggest race of his life because he wasn't honest with his family, and still his dad doesn't understand. Just continues to be rude. He just doesn't get it. Do race car drivers really experience 2 times the G-force that astronauts experience? That's insane. Are they okay? Why did they need a helicopter to monitor the trials for the movie scenes? Do they really do that? They chase race cars around with helicopters? Do they just have access to a helicopter at any time? Oh, but all those training scenes are so funny. Didn't their training kind of remind you of like Hunger Games style? It's just like some of these kids are not gonna make it out of here. Like sometimes everybody's just eyeing everybody down. What, are you gonna run them off the road? Some do. The car crashes are so confusing. They happen so fast. I have no idea what just happened. Are they inferring that some of these kids are cheating somehow? The other guy in training is literally saying they just are putting on a show. Very confused. Or is he a plant? An experienced driver pretending to be a noob? It's so interesting that Jan, from even just his experience in the video game, know that somehow the brakes were malfunctioning and glazed. Practice makes perfect, and he knew something was wrong. In real life versus mental practice. Mental practice can get you there. If you're not physically on the field, you can up your levels just in your mind. Mental practice times video games, that's crazy. Jan is an insane expert. I didn't really like any of the coach's acting, except for one scene at the end, and something changed in the middle of it, and I was like, oh, never mind. Did you notice all the little sound effects throughout the movie? They played PlayStation sounds? Oh man, Jan's winning face every time he wins, so funny. Every racing scene is so cool. The way they're showing off all the tracks is so cool and dynamic. Even though they try, the races are still a little confusing though. Watching, I thought this is definitely the start of a new franchise. And I'm okay with that. Would this be a separate universe than the rest of their potential movies? Does this movie somehow link to Spyro or Ratchet and Clank? Tomb Raider? I like that Jan had a little romance throughout the movie, but how does the coach know he's always looking at his phone at her? All the music gags, oh my gosh. So funny. Every race is the biggest race of your life. So Jan has a lot of big races. As soon as I saw those gold Kappa cars, I love black and gold. They really show off the tracks. They're super lucky to race on these. And then you just have Orlando Bloom on them, dancing around like the Mad Hatter. The races are so intense. Edge of your seat, the whole movie intense. Even in Jan's biggest race of his life, his own pit crew was being mean. So mean to him. How'd that guy get on the crew? And why is he still there? Sir, you're fired. There was one scene when Jan was told not to interact with Kappa. It looked like Kappa was trying to say hi, and Jan just had his head down and walked away. I can't believe all the cars they totaled in this movie. And then when the Kappa car did crash, so intense. Everything's on fire, and then he's okay, but he's okay. Okay. There was one point where I thought we were going into a virtual reality segment of the movie, and they were all gonna get stuck in a video game and someone was gonna die. Because I feel like there's something strange about the creator of the video game. Doesn't it seem like he has a secret? Like Sword Art Online kind of a secret? I just feel like there's something they're not telling us. And now I'm not sure how to say Nissan. I feel like this movie was cut into so many parts. Like this was originally segmented for TV. There was about a dozen times where I felt like the movie could just end. Or join us next week when Jan gave his coach that present. Oh my gosh, are you going to die? Why did you tell him not to open it? Are you going to crash? He crashes. So do race cars have boost? I'm super confused because these cars seem like they have some kind of boost button. And is it fair to drive different cars with different shapes? I don't know about that. It was okay, but I feel like they need to make switching places during the race just a little bit more impactful. In Jan's crash, they explain it, but it's like, what just happened even? And they don't even show what happened, but somebody died. It's too intense and it's so sad. Super confusing. I think it's a little crazy when the coach just shows up to Jan. He's like, let's go. Jan's like, all right. Just seems a little fast. He had like a terrible accident. There's like conflicting messages when it's like, go so fast, go like 400 miles an hour, but also like take your time and go slow. Like recuperate, but get right back on it. Drive safe over 400 miles an hour. It's still really sad though. I felt like they could have ended it there again, but there's more races to be had. Like, I thought they were gonna set up an entire movie about anti-simulated drivers, but that's in this movie. So let's have a race as a protest. And I still think that guy they called back to be on the team is a cheater. Thought it was weird when, like, you know, people were in the hospital recuperating and showing the importance of like maybe more practice maybe. And the coach is like, I have to go into every detail about this and the new cars. And he's like, no, you'll be fine. Just a strange, like, disregard for life. Like, didn't something terrible just happen? Didn't you learn? You are learning from this, right? I felt like this movie was sponsored by that end country they were in. They made such a big deal about the opening anthem for that race and so much national pride. And the anthems were so loud, but I didn't see anybody singing. They were just observing. Kind of strange. All the flag stuff was really intense. I feel like everybody needs to have the same kind of car. Otherwise, this race is not like a scientifically equal playing field. Like Harry Potter is better at flying because he has a better broom than everyone else. I don't think it's that fair. The Ferrari crash and that driver bursting into flames and crawling out of the fire. Oh my gosh. Why is this movie so intense? I can't believe they continue the race even in rain. Like, isn't it dangerous to go over water at 400 miles per hour in a car like that? It's not a boat. Even though that crew pit did apologize, he should be fired. At the end, they do show you some of the real life people. It's super interesting to see how this movie was made. Taking 3D scans of the cars and showing us what really happened. Did I cry? Yes, the entire time. I don't know why, but as soon as I saw their opening card, like Marvel, with all the PlayStation properties, I don't know, it got me. When Jan uses video games as escapism, oh my gosh. It's just so sad. When I saw that Jan's mom was Ginger Spice, I cried. I grew up with the Spice Girls. I had no idea. When he was almost late to his qualifying match in the beginning, oh my gosh, it was so intense getting there. I literally cried. Anytime there was like a PlayStation sound, it made me cry. Yes, this is a movie to see in theaters. I would give this movie about an 81%. I went in with low to no expectations and came out very impressed. I'm excited to see what other PlayStation movies we'll be getting. Subscribe, check out the channel, and I'll see you after your next movie.